Ray, why don't you tell us how exactly were you involved with that group, and how did you get to know these people, and who were they exactly?
I'll give you the story behind it.
Yes, please do, yes.
I received a telephone call in November of 91, I believe, and it was from a gentleman who said he and a colleague were in the area, and they worked for the Department of Defense, and they wanted to get together and pick my brain about some things related to the unexplained. So we met, and it was a really intriguing conversation. And what they were researching was a way to contact and harness the force, the power behind a group of non-human entities, and that's how they referred to them, as NHEs, non-human entities. But they were hoping for time travel, interdimensional travel, being able to remote view very accurately, in terms of project your mind into a remote location and literally read documents that were there, those sorts of things.
Aliens o ángeles caídos. En mis videos, la diferencia de opiniones es ferviente, pero sea lo que sea, está pasando algo extraño. Acabas de escuchar a Ray Boucher, un investigador que habría tenido este inusual encuentro con unos hombres que supuestamente buscan un mayor conocimiento y tecnología abriendo portales. Décadas atrás, muchos especulan que todos los avistamientos anteriores se deben a que se dejaron puertas abiertas, tanto así que un grupo llamado Collins al parecer tuvo que ser creado para contrarrestar esta situación con una especie de soporte espiritual. Recientemente, este investigador se ha pronunciado y considera que son ángeles caídos. Otros, por el contrario, piensan que son extraterrestres, y aunque todos ellos piensan muy distinto el uno del otro, sí están de acuerdo en que el ser humano está interfiriendo con cosas que no conocemos. Hay muchos detalles que le sucedieron a este hombre, pero por alguna razón no los pude poner en esta plataforma. En décadas anteriores, Rusia y Estados Unidos tenían diferencias y abrieron programas paranormales que se supone volvieron a cerrar hace mucho tiempo, pero según Ray Boucher, la situación actual de Rusia y Ucrania ha generado que las agencias quieran repetir estos experimentos para abrir supuestos portales y superar a otros países. ¿Recuerdas a este científico llamado Jordi Rose en un video mío anterior? Tú mismo o tú misma puedes buscarlo. Y permítame refrescar tu memoria acerca de lo que él dice de estas tecnologías muy novedosas, que supuestamente llegarían más allá de lo que conocemos.
These things that we're summoning into the world now are not demons, they're not evil, but they're more like the Lovecraftian great old ones. There are entities that are not necessarily going to be aligned with what we want.
There are an enormous number, mind-bogglingly large number, of parallel realities, as real as this one, that have different consistent histories. And this is bizarre, because we don't see those other things. But science has reached the point now where we can build machines that exploit those other worlds. What this center is about is applying this beautiful new computational idea in the service of trying to make intelligent machines.
Ray Boucher, quien aparentemente también es experto en demonología, habla de un investigador francés llamado Jacques Vallée, quien desde hace muchas décadas ya veía a estas entidades como algo más allá.
He's a French scientist, he's an astronomer and a computer scientist. He worked for several years at Northwestern University in the astronomy department there and at UT Austin. but has been involved in work in UFO research since the late 60s. His first book was Anatomy of a Phenomenon about UFOs. And he began to abandon fairly early on the idea that these things are physical interplanetary craft. At one point, he's made the statement that if UFOs turn out to be nothing more than extraterrestrial craft, I will be sorely disappointed. He understands that there's a lot more to this. And in that, he began to explore the idea of these things coming from other dimensions and jumping into our space-time from their own.
Más adelante también verás cómo el ser humano supuestamente ha obtenido nueva tecnología aérea a través del contacto en estos portales.
The first time I realized that some of these vehicles were actually man-made was when I met aerospace illustrator Mark McCandlish, who testified at the Disclosure Project press conference about a highly classified air show at Norton Air Force Base, where reverse-engineered flying saucers were unveiled for those with a, quote, need to know.
A male staff member in Congressman Brown's office not only confirmed the exhibit, but the fact that there were 3 discs at that exhibit. These discs were hovering off the floor without any visible means of support. They were referred to as alien reproduction vehicles, also nicknamed the flux liner because they used high voltage electricity. This is a diagram that I made based on a sketch that Brad Sorensen did for me in rough form shortly after he had his sighting, and subsequently cleaned that drawing up and made it much more accurate. And that's the drawing that Dr. Greer is holding there now.
Hace tiempo también hice un documental sobre un médico que, aunque sí cree en extraterrestres, vio hombres que admitían en cámara que hay muchas supuestas abducciones que son un montaje.
It wasn't until 2016 that I was able to get one of them to say so on camera.
We did do that, yes. OSI did that. There was a special group out of the 7602nd Air Intel Wing at Fort Belvoir that came out and did that. They had these people that had maybe some sort of defects, anatomical defects that were brought in to fool people into thinking they're aliens. Yeah, I can't give you any specifics because the program is still classified, and they probably still doing it. I wouldn't doubt it. They were still doing it. These civilians got onto the base and got into something, and they saw something they weren't supposed to see, and this group came out and went into their home and scared the dickens out of them and
staged an alien event.
Exactly.
¿Qué crees que son estas cosas? ¿Qué crees que podría pasar? Como dije antes, aquí no pude poner todo lo que ha sucedido con este investigador que es tan extraño y tan inusual que abre muchas preguntas, por lo cual he abierto un programa de radio y escucha, y aunque no tiene video y es solamente audio, ya muchos de ustedes han enviado correos y han participado con sus anécdotas y testimonios que son bastante impresionantes. Todo es libre. Abajo en el primer comentario te dejaré el enlace para que puedas entrar y escuchar todo. No olvides suscribirte y compartir para más videos como este, y hasta la próxima.